I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anyway, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title.
Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on.
Piers Morgan said his interview with Jake Paul was more exciting than the fight. He called the match boring and accused Jake of making money off fighting older, weaker boxers. On the other hand, young boxer Rayo Valenzuela praised Jake and said, "He looked great." He even said Jake deserves to be ranked in the top 15 to 20 fighters in his division. A big compliment from someone in the sport.
Jake Paul fought a good fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches. And for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anyway, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can't, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living up. Basically, you're living off your father's name. Yeah. That's basically what you do, because you didn't even fight until the last round, maybe last two rounds, and threw some punches, and you had some success when you threw some punches.
Before the fight, many thought this was just another easy match for Jake. People believed Chavez Jr. would beat him easily, but Jake shocked everyone. He trained hard and beat a real pro. This win was different. It mattered, and it changed how people see Jake Paul in the boxing world.
Great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through. So, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, what life throws at you sometimes. But, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here, in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he want, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something. Yeah.
Jose Benavidez Sr., who trains top fighters like his son David, also gave Jake credit. After watching the fight, he said Jake looked great and even suggested a possible future match between Jake and David. He believes Jake now deserves a shot at a world title, showing that professionals are starting to take Jake seriously.
I think Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title. He proved it today with the ex-world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, that, he dominated and he did really good.
What did you think of Chavez's performance? Early on, he didn't throw a lot, and then towards the end, he had some moments. Were you disappointed in Chavez?
Well, I thought, he was going to try to get Jake Paul a little tired. He was blocking and taking all his shots, but I think he just got tired, and couldn't execute it. So Jake Paul did a great job.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult also shared his thoughts. He said Jake has improved a lot, and people don't give him enough credit because of his background. Showbiz believes Jake now has real boxing skills, timing, control, and discipline, and that this isn't just about hype anymore.
I looked at Jake. I was saying, thank you, Jake. Yep, I was saying, thank you, Jake. A lot. The thing is, not to say that because he beat a 6-year-old Mike Tyson that, that impressed me with. What I'm saying is, you couldn't really see everything that Jake possessed in that fight. He has gotten way better. I saw him training, and I'm like, the guy is good. He messed around and got good. You don't like Zurdo fight? Zurdo looked. I mean, that was one of the best I've seen, but best times I've seen. No, Zurdo won this. Clear to me. Don't forget it was point deduction. 115, 113. I mean 113, 112. 117, 110. Yeah, it was clearly Zerto. Clearly Zerto. Yeah, it was clearly Zerto, bro. I mean, Zerto was making a miss, and Zerto was really, I was impressed by his defense.
Videos from the fight show Jake Paul clearly winning from the start. Chavez Jr. barely threw any meaningful punches. Jake stayed ahead with good footwork, strong jabs, and solid conditioning. He looked calm, focused, and totally in control. He didn't just win physically, he won mentally, too.
Jake Paul has defeated Chavez Jr. right this fight. Chavez got active in them last 3 rounds and he really showed his power. But throughout most of the fight and throughout those first 5 or 6 rounds, right, most of us were saying, is Chavez here to fight or not? Because he was not throwing very much at all. And then you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired because he's not used to going 10 rounds, and then maybe in those last couple rounds you could get him. But Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on. He looked well even in the final 3 rounds when Chavez was pouring it on enough to get over the top. I'd say it's impressive considering Chavez Jr. is former champion for Jake Paul. Probably going to get a title shot soon. My question to y'all is, what did y'all think of the fight? When Chavez first came out, man, I'm like, he's not throwing. Jake Paul looked really active. I go, when is Chavez going to throw? Then Chavez began to throw, and you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired and then try to beat him down the stretch, right? Which I think that was strategy. But Paul proving to hang on. Chavez goes down in this one. So, guys, what do y'all think about the fight? What do you think about Jake Paul's performance? And can he get a title shot?
At the press conference, Jake Paul stayed confident. He respected Chavez Jr. and praised his Mexican fighting spirit, but he also fired back at critics. People questioned his toughness, but Jake said, actions speak louder than words. This fight was personal for him. He wanted to prove that he's more than a famous face, and he did.
Between you and Cesar Chavez Jr. tonight. Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. And my hands low-key hurt from his face. And so, respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability and my toughness.
Jake, Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him, but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words, so people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in, everyone's watching, and I just continue to win.
I know you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Does it end there? Would you want to bring Tyson Fury out of retirement?
Oh, man. There's too many people for me to fight. I need more time. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can't do is create more time. So we'll see what happens.
Before the fight, Piers Morgan didn't believe Jake was a real boxer. He thought Jake hadn't faced a real challenge yet, but Jake ignored the doubt and focused on his training. When the fight came, Jake didn't just win, he dominated. He proved to fans and critics that he's not just here for show, he's here to compete.
YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get... Look, you're going to make a ton of money. And listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money, and everything else. The idea that you can say on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, champions in their sport. Golden Gloves champions, Ryan Borland, Andre August, undefeated fighters. The list goes.
But what great boxer have you been in the ring with?
World champion on Saturday, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, besides me, of course. Like, I don't know what you guys want to see. I tried to fight Canelo. He ducked out of it. You asked him about that. You said he's going to kill me. So what do you want? You're laughing when you say, oh, Jake is going to fight Canelo. I think you would kill him. But then you're like, oh, you're not fighting this guy. You're the problem here with this whole situation and criticism of my career. I'm trying to fight the best people, and that's why Chavez is here on Saturday. I want Canelo. I want Anthony Joshua. I want all these people. It's been 5 years in this sport.
But the problem is, the only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury. He beat you. He's not even the best. He's not even the best fighter in his family.
Golden Gloves champion Andre August, Brian Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit there and make up shit, but you actually don't know your facts. I've fought multiple boxers with professional records, and including Mike Tyson himself, who I think is going to be a harder fight than Chavez.
Boxing expert Tony Jeffries also praised Jake's dedication. He said Jake trained seriously with the best coaches and nutritionists, just like a pro. This wasn't just for fame or money. Jake was truly committed. Jeffries said Jake created a professional setup, and that's why he's getting better so fast.
Now, one huge advantage of having money is he can hire the best team in the world. He'll have the best things possible. Like, he's got a hyperbaric chamber in his home, but he's got the best kind of chamber, helping him with recovery. Normal fighters can't afford to do this. Because he's got that advantage. Now, you might be thinking, well, him getting in a hyperbaric chamber for recovery is not going to help him be a better boxer. Well, my friend, let me tell you, it is. And the reason why it is, I think you've done a hard box training session, and you've got another one the next day because fighters train like once, twice, 3 times a day. You're going to recover fast. If you recover faster, what happens? You perform better on the next session. So let's just say an average boxer is progressing like this because they're not recovering properly. JakePaul is recovering and progressing like, see how fast he has progressed, whether you like him or not. He's come from 0 boxing experience to where he's at now. Now you might be saying, well, Tony, he's fighting old men. Just look at Luke Floyd Mayweather fought on his fight, then look at Jake fought on his fighting. See here the comparisons right there. Now back to the money. Having that money, he's doing hyperbaric gym. He's got the best sports scientists, best trainers around. And if I was still fighting right now and I couldn't afford what Jake's got, what I was doing is watching what he's doing. Now you might think that is absolutely crazy. Why would I want to watch JakePaul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. You would take that for in your training, you know, he's doing something right.
JakePaul was confident even before the fight. He said he would win, and he did. He removed all distractions and focused only on training. People in his team confirmed that he was locked in. Now, after this big win, Jake's goal of building a boxing legacy is starting to look real.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, you know, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, you know, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. You think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts, and I think he wants to put Mexico on his back and represent, and he doesn't want to lose to a guy like me because he knows that's going to hurt his legacy that he's built for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake, if you see video of him, it looks like he's training hard. I think that there's one criticism, obviously, as you know, of his that people have always said is that, hey, he doesn't train hard, doesn't work as hard as he should, but he's a guy with a lot of talent. But if he is working hard and he does still have that talent, obviously, that could make for a dangerous opponent, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I bring out of my opponents. You know, even when I fly sparring partners in, they go harder than they normally do with other guys because they want to prove a point because it's me. They don't want to get beat up by a guy who's only been doing this for 5 years or so. So they always bring their A game, and that's why I'm always at my best as well because I have to bring my A game every time.
Jake's youth gave him a big advantage. He entered the fight full of energy and showed fast stamina and power. He was hungry to win. Meanwhile, Chavez Jr. looked slow and out of shape, possibly due to time away from the ring and personal problems. Jake used every advantage and proved that his hard work and energy could beat Chavez's experience.
Answer he can. He's like, yeah, every fight's different. He's young, so he has a lot of energy. I think that, Jake also has a lot of power. Chavez Jr. has never seen. Again, he's moving up, I don't know how many weight classes from middleweight. Probably never fought a guy that hits as hard as Jake does. Not to say that Jake's, exorbitantly powerful or anything like that. He may be, but it's just he's a cruiserweight. Chavez Jr. fought, I think, once at cruiserweight, maybe twice now. Jake's youth is a massive factor for him. Chavez Jr. is 39. He's not, 50 or whatever, but got a lot of boxing miles on him. Has some, obviously, outside of the ring substance issues. Been out of the ring and on and off for the last however long. Has taken massive breaks. So all that's going to factor.
A lot of people. What I mean is, people are going to, on paper, look at this and be like, oh, Jake Paul gets schooled here. Chavez Jr. is 39. He was not known as a very disciplined boxer during his prime. That's one of the reasons he had such a heavy decline. He's also a lot smaller than Jake Paul. What I will say about Jake Paul is he is a genius, or his team and management are geniuses at giving him opponents that people on paper look at and be like, oh, Jake Paul's not a real fighter. He won't be able to beat this guy. This is very, 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 very minimal risk for Jake Paul. The only factor that can come into play here is if Chavez Jr. decides he actually wants to show up properly for this fight, conditioned, and use his experience to win. But Jake Paul, for me, and his team are very, very careful about who they matchmake him against ever since the Tommy Fury fight. Ever since here, we haven't seen him in there with someone his own age, his own weight, and his own sort of experience. For me, Jake Paul wants to be a YouTube boxer still, and he wants to be considered an influencer boxer. Matchmaking him against these guys that on paper, oh, this is a big challenge for Jake Paul, in reality not really, is okay. But I think if Jake Paul actually is what he says he wants to be, and he wants to make that step up, man, he's going to have to take risks.